Fianna Fáil TD Ryan O'Mara made a proposal this week that in any sane country wouldn't be remotely controversial. He wants to make a Gaeltacht stay mandatory for all secondary school students before they sit the Leaving Cert. Here's what he had to say. This isn't just about exams or fluency, it's about changing attitudes. Right now, too many students associate Irish with pressure, boredom or frustration and not with pride or identity. At the heart of this is the question that we've all heard: how can someone go through 14 years of education and still be unable to hold a basic conversation in Irish? That shouldn't be the case. What I'm proposing may seem ambitious, but that's where this conversation needs to begin. We are witnessing a cultural renaissance in Ireland with a newfound graw for our native language, and we need to support and harness that momentum. Currently, many students view Irish as just another subject, something they're required to study, rather than something they feel connected to. For too many, Irish evokes a groan or a huff, not a sense of pride or enthusiasm. That needs to change. We need to create more immersive experiences so that young people see Irish as a living language, something they can use and enjoy in real life, not just a subject confined to the classroom. By ensuring all students have access to a Gaeltacht course, we offer them a chance to hear the language spoken naturally, use it daily in conversation, and to develop a genuine connection to it. Immersion is the best way to learn and gain a graw for our language. If Irish is going to remain a core subject in our education system, then we need to have an obligation to ensure students aren't just learning about it but living it. This is about more than our language, it's about our national identity, our heritage and our future. We cannot accept a system where, after over a decade of learning, students still are unable to speak our national language. Something clearly isn't working and we need to change that. To be honest, I don't have much to disagree with there. Every single one of those lines hits on something very real and visceral. Too many people come out of the school system in Ireland having spent years studying Irish, yet they can't speak it. That's not an argument against the language, it's an indictment of how it's being taught. We treat Irish like a dead academic subject to be analysed and dissected rather than something that's actually spoken and experienced. And the result is exactly what O'Mara described: detachment, frustration, and the sense that it's just another box to tick for the Leaving Cert. What's refreshing is that he didn't fall into the usual politician's habit of framing the language as some kind of dusty obligation. He spoke about identity, heritage, and culture, and that matters because that's exactly what's been missing from this conversation for years. Too many in official Ireland are clearly uncomfortable with the idea that the Irish people might have a distinct culture at all. They speak passionately about European values or global citizenship, but then when it comes to Irishness itself, they go awkwardly quiet. We saw this dynamic play out in 2021 when the language requirements for joining on Garda Síochána were loosened. According to the Department of Justice, Irish could be a barrier for those not born here, so the solution was to simply drop the standard. That was presented as a modern, inclusive step forward, but it was just another message that Irish culture is dispensable when it becomes inconvenient. Of course, a stay in the Gaeltacht isn't going to make everyone fluent, but that's not the point. What it does is lift the language out of the textbook and place it in the real world. Students hear it spoken, used in conversation, and they begin to understand that it's alive and that it still matters. That kind of connection doesn't happen in a classroom, it happens through lived experience. At the end of the day, this is about whether we believe that Ireland still has a culture worth preserving or whether we're going to quietly watch it disappear under the weight of our own indifference. It's true that there is a cultural reawakening happening, a kind of new Gaelic revival, you can feel it. The question is whether the institutions of the state are willing to support that or whether they'll continue to stand in its way. Either way, the Irish language doesn't need permission from the state to survive, but it does deserve better than the slow erosion it's been subjected to for decades. And if more people in government start saying that out loud, so much the better.